Hey there. In this video, we're going to cover creating a quote for a stabilized deal. So any deal where the property is already not fully occupied, but at least above 92% occupancy. And therefore, we'll be giving them a ramped up price rather than billing them on occupied units. So right now, I'm at my opportunity. As you can see, this is just a test opportunity, and I am logged in as Jeff. This way, y'all can see what a sales rep would see verbatim when doing this process. So, a couple things to check before you go ahead and you do create a new quote. We're going to want to make sure that your close date is up to date. We're going to want to make sure that your launch date right here reflects your best estimate at when the property is in fact going to launch. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you have your renewal rate filled out as well and that it is correct. Lastly, I would check this little side community details section to make sure, one, that you have the community itself linked. And then number two, to make sure that the structure type is correct, property class, location, demographic, and units, because all of those fields will affect what default pricing is given to your quote. So once you've checked all of those and made sure that they look good, we're going to come up to the top of your opportunity and hit this new quote button. Once you hit new quote, some fields are going to pop up for yourself. So this primary checkbox should always be checked. Don't worry about ever unchecking it. Subscription term, this is just going to be the number of months in your deal. Our default is 24, and that's going to be 99% of the time the case, and we're just going to want to keep it. The sales rep field is going to automatically default to yourself. The renewal uplift, that is reflective of the renewal rate that is on the opportunity. Billable units will show up here. Start date, that is going to be the launch date. So down here from the opportunity. And then the community will just pull from the community that's linked to the opportunity. Now, if any of these sections are wrong and or blank, what I ask that you do is you not change them here, that you actually hit cancel, fix them on the opportunity or community, and then come back and hit new quote. We do plan to make it to where if you update it here, it'll write back to the opportunity. But when that happens, we will update this video with the new steps. So if you hear me say this, I'd still ask that you update the opportunity. So assuming that this all looks good, we're going to go ahead and click save. Now, once you hit save, a green banner will appear at the top, letting you know that the quote was created, and you can click on that quote number and it will take you to it. However, just like you saw, that goes away after a good 7 seconds. So if your computer's slow or it just seemed laggy, you didn't get to click on it, no worries. You can always navigate to that quote by clicking the related tab. And then up at the top, you will only see one quote here. It'll be the quote that you just created. The reason that there are so many on this is because I've created quite a few videos utilizing this opportunity. So I'm going to click this first one right here that I just made. And that will also take you to the quote. So from here, there's not really much to do or look at in these field sections right here because we just validated. Your first plan of action is really to go ahead and click this Add Edit Products button up in the top right. What this is going to allow you to do is pick the product and edit the pricing. So we'll click Add Edit Products. From here, there's 4 options, but you really only need to be concerned about 2. And that would be lease up and stabilized. For this exercise, we're just going to choose stabilized because we're talking about a stabilized community. And just a note, you don't have to select the implementation fee. It will automatically be brought over for you if you choose either stabilized or lease up. So I'll go ahead and then hit select. All right. Now that we're here, you will see on the top section, month, and then it'll show you all the price for all 24 months for the contract. And then right under that, you have the implementation fee. Now, to see the details of all of these months, what you can do is hit this little down caret. It'll then collapse down the details here. And you will be able to see what price was given for this quote. So in this instance, it's $6, $6, $6, $9 for the next 3 months, and then $16 moving forward. That is because this deal was a tier 2 urban deal. And so depending on the market that you have selected for the community and whether or not the locale, which I'll go back to it really quick. Here you can see the locale is set to urban. That is why it shows 6, 9, and 16 as the ramp. So whatever our rate card is, it's going to default to. Also, a quick note, I'm making this video in 2022. So if you're watching this in 2023, this will then reflect our 23 rate card rather than 2022. And then if you need to edit any of these, it's as simple as clicking the pencil icon and then typing in what you need it to say. So if we were doing, say, 6, 7, and 8, and then going to 9, then you can just hit edit and then click calculate, and then you'll see the subtotal will alter. Now, a quick note on the month 1, because every quote will do this. This does automatically prorate the amount for whenever the start date is. So you can see that because we're starting on the 25th, it's actually changing the prorated price so that we get the correct total for that month. If by default you want to show them the entire month rather than the prorated amount, you could always change the start date to be the first of the month. And then that will artificially make it be a full month because they're paying for every single day in that month. So that's pretty simple there. You can simply just edit and then hit calculate. And say in this example, because we went up $1 in month 2 and $2 in month 3, we were doing this because they want the implementation fee waived. That's easy for us to edit here. On this bottom line, you'll see the implementation fee. It's always going to be 1 unit, never change that. And then it's going to bring over the list price. This also comes from our rate card. So it's going to read how many units are on the community and then associate the correct price for that implementation fee. Right next to that list price, you'll see this additional discount field. It is always blank, but you'll see the pencil icon if you hover over it. If you need to discount this any further, you'll just click that pencil icon and you have 4 options of discounting, but only 2 are really pertinent. So first, as you can see, we can do a percentage basis. So if I wanted to do 50%, 75%, or even 100%, I could do so. And I can hit calculate once again up in the top right. And when I do that, you see then the net price went to $0. That's one option you have. Another one is if it's going to be a fixed amount and not a certain percentage, you can always select USD. And then so this is going to be a dollar amount. So if we just said, hey, we're going to give you $1,000 off, you can type that in, hit calculate, and now you see this updated to $750. Oh, there we go. And so that's how simple editing the price is going to be. I suggest once you're done doing all of your edits, always hit calculate. And then once you hit calculate, go ahead and hit save. When you hit save, it's going to run some calculations in the background and bring you back to the quote itself. So we're now here at the quote. Some new fields have now been populated. So we have the discount rate. This is going to show you what the discount rate is for the quote, given all of the edits that you've made. So in this example, you can see it's at 24.82%, well below the 27% that you guys are allowed to discount without leadership approval. And then this full rate field will also populate, and this is just showing what the ending rate is that the client lands on once they're finished ramping. From there, that's really all that you need to do to create your quote and get your pricing situated. So next, I'll walk you through actually generating the contract itself. And most of that is going to be done. If you scroll down on the quote, there's a quote options section right here. By default, every quote will have these three checkboxes checked. Package management agreement. This is the first 5 pages of the contract that cover our terms and conditions between the client and ourselves. Not the resident terms and conditions, but the T's and C's for the client. Our Appendix A, also known as our property addition form, that has the actual pricing in it. And then Appendix B, which is our billing form, essentially, that tells them what our bank address is, when things are going to be due, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to print out Appendix C, which is the resident terms and conditions, Appendix D, or Appendix E, you can just click the edit button right here and then check the boxes if you want to print those out as well. If not, you can just leave them blank, which is what I'm going to do here. The last thing is going to be this named account contract section. And this is going to be only useful to you if you are sending a contract to any of these certain groups. The reason we have this section here is because these accounts have specific contracts that differ so much from our plain agreement that we have separate templates for them. So I just want to point out what that is, but if you're just getting started or you're not selling to any of these accounts actively, then you don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to just hit cancel here because I want the defaults here. Now, if I want now the Word document of the proposal, well, it's going to look like the contract. It is going to be the contract, I should say. And it's going to be a Word document of the contract with the pricing that you just created. What you're going to do up in the top right is hit generate document. It's then going to use those fields and the prices that you put on the quote to then generate the correct document. And I don't know if this is an issue that is caused because I am impersonating Jeff here. It is not going to let me use his DocuSign account because I am logged into my DocuSign account. So this should not happen to you. I have another video that I can potentially put in here as well and edit this, but it's just going to say that your document has been generated. And there's going to be a button to the right-hand side that says download. You can simply download that document and it's going to, you can open it up. I would always verify that everything looks correct, that the price is right, the legal entity name looks correct, the formatting is good, and then you can go ahead and send that off to the client and kick off the negotiation process. So that's creating a stabilized quote, all the steps from just starting at the opportunity without a quote, all the way to going forward and creating the quote, and then generating that first draft of the contract. One last thing that I do want to touch on is going to be actually editing the price as negotiations unfold. So, say we downloaded that document, we sent it over to the client, and they say, "Hey, this looks great, but hey, we don't want to pay $8 in month 3, we want to pay 7." Not a problem. What you're going to do is come back to the quote, which you can do by going to the opportunity and getting back to the quote like I showed you in the beginning. We'll hit add or edit products again. And then what it's going to do, rather than have you select the products like it did the first time, it's going to take you right back to this screen where you can then edit these again. So if they said, "Hey, we can't do 8, we'll do 7 again though," you'll just select that, hit calculate, and then hit save. From here, it's going to take you back to the quote. You'll see the discount rate did get updated from 24.8 to 25.3, so we're still within approval range. And then you'll just hit generate document once more, and it's then going to generate your new Word document with the updated pricing that you just changed. And so that's pretty much how the creating a proposal and negotiation process is going to work. In a separate video, I will show you, once you and the client have agreed on pricing and the contract terms, the steps that need to be taken to actually send the contract itself. So I'll see you in that video, and thanks for watching. As always, reach out to the revenue operations team if you have any questions or you get stuck along the way. Thank you.